Alright, EarToTheGround Music, welcome. We're here with Cory Chisel. We don't have the Wandering Sons with us, but we're glad to have Cory. And we're at Mr. Small's in Pittsburgh, getting ready for a pretty awesome show tonight.
Right.
My first question is about genre. I know sometimes artists don't really like to pigeonhole yourselves, but I've seen you described as folk, Americana, stuff like that. How do you describe your music?
Well, it is definitely a term that people sort of shrug at because it is a little folk and a little rock and roll and all those things. Americana is probably the closest thing. I mean, our music is built off of all the main American music styles, from blues to country to, there's not a lot of like European influence in the kind of music that we do, but that's not totally true because we love a lot of Irish bands for whatever reason. So, it's kind of one of those catch-all terms I think applies.
So you just came out with The Old Believers, a new album, and we saw an interview where you talked a little bit about the name of it, but I was curious if you could tell us a little bit about how you planned out the concept of the album and how you connected the songs together.
That process took me about 3 years with this record. It takes a long time to get in the mood to make one because there's a lot that goes with the recording of the record is really fun, but the commitment to tour and to be out and do a lot of interviews and be around is something that can take a little bit of prodding if you've kind of already gone through it before. And but over time the songs just start stacking up, and it starts feeling like you got too much on your desk and you gotta clear it off. And I'd written probably 40, 50 songs that I liked to some degree. And I was talking to my friend Brendan and basically said, what are we going to do with these? Well, and he pretty much put it to me that it was time to do something, And so I started sorting through them together, and with my partner Adriel as well too. And I think we figured that out of those 50 songs we had something that we could stand behind for the next, foreseeable future. And it's difficult to make records because once you make them, they're set in stone. And I'm sure you experienced that with interviews too. It's like you always watch them back and you're like, shit, I would have changed a number of things.
Sure.
So they're very permanent. So you can it takes a while for me to get in the mood for that.
Well, you have to sort of make sure that you make the right choices. So
or either that or you're gonna live with whatever you made.
Right. One of the things you shared in your bio on your website was about sort of church background, and I was interested, especially playing in an old church, that would be interesting. But I was interested in how you think that sort of influences the way you make music now, because it's decidedly not Christian music. So.
Yeah. Well, the way it influences it most heavily is the way I experience music. I was taught to use music to transform your state of mind, as opposed to just some people listen to it in their car. I didn't learn to use it that way. It wasn't something that was sort of pedestrian. It was something that you really were engaged in with your full self, And that is still the way that I relate to it. Its purpose isn't to push any religious agenda of any kind anymore. That I'm not singing hymns and things, but it's still sort of run at it the same way.
That's awesome. That's cool. So I have to ask about Adriel. I'm curious at how you would describe that singing with her and what that's like, particularly performing live.
Yeah. Well, it's a pretty beautiful experience to have another person that you can relate to intuitively and spiritually at the same time, and to sort of have this exercise of singing where you're communicating, And it's a very intimate sort of collaboration, and it can be kind of interesting to do it in front of hundreds of people, but it's a pretty profound experience, and one that is one of my most cherished.
One of the things that we ran across and checking out your music was a stripped down version of "I've Been Accused" that you had done on FM 101.
Oh yeah.
With just just rocking out with guitar and just you, and we were blown away by that. It was a really cool performance. I was wondering if you have any plans at all to maybe do an acoustic album like that, like a solo kind of gig. Is that something that you...
I would do one like that. Yeah, I would. That would be exciting to try. I hadn't thought of it. I would. I'd be interested in that and seeing what it turned out to be.
I think the sound. I think your voice lends itself really well to just a solo performance. Not that it sounds good the way it is with the band, but I think it would kind of maybe open up different venues and just a different.
Yeah, I'd be willing to give that a try.
Yeah, that's really cool. Well, we don't want to keep you too long, so I'll finish it off this way. We like to ask people kind of at the end of the interview if there's something you'd like our readers and our fans to know about your music in particular. It can be silly or serious, just anything you'd like people to know.
Yeah, well, I think the best thing I could say is that this is the record that we've been the happiest with in our history of making records, which is not, decades and decades, but we're really happy with this product, and I'm happy to encourage people to buy it. And if they're not into it, then we can't do anything else. We did what we could do.
Right. Cool. Well, thanks so much for getting together with us.
Yeah, you bet.
It's been Cory Chisel with EarToTheGround Music. Thanks.